back, y'all. Welcome back, man. Welcome back. It has been a while. It's been a while. So, the camera, my phone, I'm using my phone today. So, I don't want y'all to see the TV. Hold on, because I don't want nothing to fall. So, I'm using my phone today. So, I am here to talk about the notorious sibling killers, which include the Briley Brothers. The gang, they were in the gang. The gang and their accomplice, Duncan, Eric Meekins, they were bad. These siblings, they were naughty. Naughty. Bad, dangerous. They kill humans. They kill about 11 people, 12 people, 20 others injured. So I have a big story. I know all about them, but I decided to write it down. So I was up all night till 3 in the morning. Just do this. Write the full page about them. So the first page, of course I knew about, but I wrote it down because sometimes I can't remember everything. So let's get the vlog started. So the Briley Brothers storytime history. So I'm gonna tell you where they were born. They were born in Richmond, Virginia. They were born to parents James Bryan Sr. and Bertha Briley. I believe that's her name. So Linwood, the oldest is Linwood Briley. I know y'all see my watch. Linwood Briley, he's the oldest, was born on March 29, 1954. James Briley was next. He was the middle child. He was born June 6, 1956. And the baby, which is Anthony Ray Briley, who was born on February 17th, 1958, which is, I believe, was the year Michael Jackson was born. So let's get it started. So I told you the first thing I told in order when they was born, the month and year, and their parents. So let's get it. So when they was young, they were good kids, good normal kids to people. Man, and all of a sudden, when they hit to their teenagers, things got changed. So I'm gonna tell you this right now. And the first murder came from Linwood Briley, the oldest of the two brothers, James and Anthony Briley. The way he murdered his neighbor, which is Orlean Christian, is by shooting her in the back of her neck while she was hanging up. So I watched on YouTube. There's a guy who visited their house. Their house. I watched yesterday. Guess what? I told him. Comment him. I said, "Why don't you subscribe to my channel?" Because I know all about him. I have a few videos. I have my other YouTube channel. It has not the full story, but I know the full story about. I know what's going on. I know all about Virginia Richmond. Trust me, I know all about it. So, yes. And I'm also the electric chair, Virginia's electric chair. The electric chair in Virginia, I know all about that too. In the state penitentiary, which is where they used to house death row and incarceration. And the electric chair, I believe, for the executions, they had it there. By shooting her back her neck while she was hanging up clothes, what I just said, he used his rifle in his second floor room, in his room, which is, I believe, was the window. It was the window. He seen her hang up clothes, and all of a sudden, they heard some noises. They told the police it was a 16-year-old Linwood son. Linwood. I can't talk. I just got home from church, so. And also, while Linwood was in custody, he told the police, she was gonna die anyways. She had heart problems. So, and let me tell you something. That little boy, back in those days, 1971, little Lennon, he didn't show any mercy. I do not like the Briley Brothers. I do not. I don't have mercy. They executions, they were well deserved. So, okay, let's see what we got. Yes. Yes. He had no mercy and said, I heard she had problems. She's gonna die anyway. Sorry, y'all. Do something real quick. So, my sister, fuck. Okay, so, while he was in custody, so he asked, why did you shoot her? And he had no mercy. He was sentenced to 1 year in prison and got out in the late 1972 with his father and two younger brothers. In 1973, James Briley, the second brother, followed his older brother with footsteps. I don't know why, because I'm gonna tell y'all this: don't follow nobody's footsteps, man. These were some criminals. I mean, bad. Bad. He followed his brother's footsteps. James D. Briley, you should never follow your brother's footsteps. You should never do that, but you did. That's not my problem. So, James D. Briley was responsible for shooting a police officer, which is the same age that Linwood murdered his neighbor in 1971. So, James, same thing, age 16. During armed robbery at a store. As he was running, he shot the police officer. Point blank range. He was sentenced to juvenile hall, detention center, 1 year, of course, and he got out. So as they grew up, things was getting worse. They had pets and spiders, snakes, and all the other pets. They were dangerous, man. I mean, and their killing spree started in March 12, 1979. The first two were elderly couple whose house got set on fire, which they didn't die because the husband was letting his wife loose. Linwood, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Linwood, they got themselves in, and then started tightening up the couple, and then all of a sudden take their valuables, and then that set the house on fire. But I'm so glad they didn't die. On 10 days later, on March 12th, Michael McDuffie, a vending machine serviceman, was assaulted and shot and robbed at his suburban home by those Brileys. I mean, boy. 10 days later, on March 31st, Lynn was shot and killed 28-year-old Eldred Clark in the face during a drug dispute involving Meekins. Yes, it's definitely true. Everything what I'm saying is true. Go on YouTube, search the Brileys. Go on Chrome, go on Google, go on YouTube, and the executions, they're gonna get it out. On April 9th, April 9th, which is a month later, they followed a 76-year-old woman named Mary Gowan across the town from her babysitting job. They followed her into the house, beat, raped, and shot her to death. They escaped from the residence with many of her valuables. 3 months later, on 4th of July, which is July 4th, which is the holiday, they saw a 17-year-old named Christopher Phillips hanging around Linwood's parked car, which suspecting that he might have been trying to steal the vehicle, and the gang surrounded him, dragged him into the near backyard. The three brothers were wrestling him into the ground when Foods screamed by dropping a cinder block into his skull. That is, oh my God. They just like Pee Wee guys. And I'm gonna tell y'all this. I'm gonna get it all in hand. Next episode, the series Kane episode, I'm gonna talk about Pee Wee Gaskins. Pee Wee Gaskins, I said. Pee Wee Gaskins, which is, he's much dangerous than Briley. I said, oh my goodness. I was about to put it in one video, but no. I'm putting this separate video, so that's gonna be the next one. That might be tomorrow, cause I gotta do a lot of things before I start doing it. So on on September 14, 1979, this jockey, Johnny D. Gallagher, was performing with his band at South Richmond nightclub. So, that's a good one. Clubs are good, but stepping outside to get some fresh air, he came to the hands of with the Brileys, having to looking for a victim all night through the town. They decided to lie and wait for whoever might happen to step outside. Gallagher was assaulted by Linwood and put him into the trunk of his car in his own Lincoln Continental. He was then driven out to the ruins of the paper mill on Mayo Island, which is located in the middle of the James River, where he was removed dead. So he was shot in the back of the head, point blank range. They took $6 away from him. His body was found dead 3 days later by the police. On September 30th, 1979, they murdered a 60-year-old woman named Mary Wilform by following her into her home into her Richmond apartment. Their brothers surrounded her just outside the door, and Linwood beat her to death with a baseball bat. They took her valuables. 5 days later, on October 5th, 1979, just 2 blocks away from the Briley Brothers' home on 4th Avenue, 75-year-old Blanche Page, which is the blind lady who, was hurt pretty bad. And her 59-year-old boarder, Charles Garner, was fatally shot, fatally assaulted, and stabbed to death with, oh my goodness, you won't believe this, with weapons, which include a baseball bat, 5 knives, oh my god, this is a pair of scissors and a fork. My goodness, that is bad. Were left behind in Garner's back. Oh my god, that is bad. I looked at that. That shit right there is a smell of breath. Smell of death. That shit, I was pissed when I said, oh my god. Girl, I wasn't born in no 50s. Girl, I wasn't born no with the final murders. Let's get to it. The final murders, which is Harvey Wilkerson and his long-time friend of the brothers and his family. On October 19th, 1979, James Briley promised the judge early that day he'll stay out of trouble. James led his brothers out to prowl that night for another victim. Upon seeing the brothers down the street, Wilkerson and his wife, Judy Diane Barton, who was 8 months pregnant, and a son named Harvey Wayne Barton, instantly closed the door and locked his door, and the action was noticed by the brothers, who walked over to the Wilkerson's front door, terrified by their opponent's response if he would let them in. And he allowed them in, that's dumb. Don't let them in. Y'all should never do that. Both adults in the home were assaulted and raped, overpowered, bond gained with duct tape. Linwood assaulted Judy in the kitchen, where she was raped within Hearing distance of the others, Meekins continued the assault for Linwood dragged Barton back into the living room. They briefly rampaged in the premise for volumes, then left the house. They covered the victims, which is they were shot before the father was shot. The sheets, and Meekins shot the father in the head. Later, the police happened to be in the general vicinity of the neighborhood and later saw the gang running down the street at a high-speed chase. They didn't know where the shots came from. The bodies not discovered until 3 days later, and by the time all four gang members were arrested soon, or Meekins turned state evidence of the three Briley brothers, which gave him the life sentence. Hold on. And Anthony Bryan, which is the youngest brother, given a license without parole. Without parole, that means I say it because all his applications all denied. Yeah, but Linwood James Bryan will be sentenced to Virginia's electric chair. In 1980, they were sent to Mecklenburg Correctional Center, which is death row for male. Five years later, after they murdered 11 people, they were planning on escape, knowing that they faced electrocution. They have nothing to lose from death row. At that time, Linwood had an execution date, which is on August 3rd. He had little hope with his day with the electric chair. These Briley brothers were ringleaders during a 3-week escape from death row, which that occurred on May 31st, 1984. Willie Leroy Turner, another death row inmate, stepped in their way by block him doing so. Meanwhile, Wilbur Lee Evans, which is also were facing electric chair. I know about Wilbur Lee Evans, which is his execution. I know about him too, which his execution didn't happen until 1991. He got electrocuted as well. Willie Leroy Turner, he got lethal injection. He was executed in 1995. So I know about him too. So stepped in, and from Linwood raping a female nurse. The 4 death row inmates were all captured by June 12, 1984, but the Brileys were still on the loose. They were hiding in the garage, in their uncle's garage named Johnny Lee Council's garage. They got captured by the heavy FBI on June 19, 1984 by using a wiretape that determined their location on their uncle's phone line. In short order, let's get to that. The executions and the appeals. Man, despite the appeals and executions, in fact, in order, the remaining appeals ran out for both brothers. The first to die was Linwood Briley, age 30, on September 24, 1984. Linwood Briley was talking to his lawyer named Deborah Wyatt, he was set to die in electric chair on October 30 of 1984. Not October 12, 1984. He was set to die in electric chair. So I said, you know what? He is set to die. I said, good. I thought they was alive. But no, they've been electrocuted for almost 30 something years, going on 40. On the day of his execution, that means on October 12, 1980, the day that Linwood Briley was set to be executed for the murders back in 1979. Approximately, I'm gonna tell you, oh my goodness. Now, I always tell y'all, what's going on about the election chair in Virginia. So about 8:30, and y'all, there's a long document. There's a couple of them actually. There's a one video that had preparation of Virginia's election chair. Go check that out. Go check the state penitentiary. They'll tell you all about it. The Virginia State Penitentiary history. It's a long 1 hour video. It's 3 of them actually. So go check them out. They'll tell you. So what I'm about to say, 8:30, they're about to give your last meal, shave your head, shave your right leg, to put you in the electric chair. And about 11 something at night, I believe 11 o'clock, back in those days, they'll put you, that's your time to go to the electric chair. That is your time. So at 8:30, Linwood had his last meal, which is a soft drink and potatoes and baked chicken. He had his head and right leg already shaved. I know that. So the electrodes to be attached to his skin, which is time for him to go to the electric chair. He didn't go. Matter of fact, tell you this right now. He didn't even go voluntarily. He did not go on his own, and the guards had to pick him up by his belt, put him in the electric chair, and strap him in the electric chair. He was given a last statement. It said, "I am innocent." He claimed his innocence. He showed it when they gave the signal to the execution, which is, I know the name, Jerry Gibbons, to start the electrocution. When the first surge of 2,400 volts electricity passed through his body, there was action. And I know Bry's execution. I know all about it. I know it. I know all what they did. I know about his execution. So I got ready. So his body tensed up, his fist clenched like a ball. Like when the electricity and the electric go, sometimes your hands go like this and the fist go right here. It will turn to the fist. When you go to the electric chair, all you gotta do is do this. Yeah. Sometimes they'll have you like this. Okay. There was actually because there was a 5-minute lapse, which is, that means they turn the first surge off, cool off, and then Linwood Briley, that first surge of that 2,400 volts in the electric chair knocked his ass out, and that's what it said, knocked him out. When the second surge of 2,400 volts hit him, his body tensed up even higher and higher. Then there was smoke coming from his leg and shaved head. He was pronounced dead at 11:05. Yeah. He was pronounced dead at 11:05 after those surges of 2,400 volts. I don't know what's going on because back in those days, I don't think it's 2,400 volts. I don't believe that. I think it's 25 because back in the 80s, Virginia's Electric had delivered 2,500, had its own activated system of 2,500 volts. I looked at it, I said, it is true. And they told me it's true. I don't believe it was 2,400. I don't believe in James Briley. And he's executed the 2,300 volts. Man. Let's get started. Alright. Now I'm the second Briley brother. 6 months later, after Linwood was put to death in the electric chair, it was James Briley's turn to go to the electric chair at the state penitentiary. He used the media to escape the chair, which did not work for that. In a few weeks before his execution, James married a woman named, which is a pretty long name, Evelyn Grant Redding, on March 28th, 1985, in a prison ceremony attended by his father, James Bryant Sr. James had a lawyer named Gerard Zerkin, which is, I know him too, Zerkin, and James Briley awaited execution, which is, they took a photo on September 6th. April 16, 1985, which is 2 days before his execution day, which is that occurred April 18, 1985, his day of execution of the electric chair. So once again, the second brother, 8:30, he ate his last meal, which is KFC food, which is I just found out about that. His head and right leg was shaved again. So the electrodes can attach to his skin too. When it's time for him to walk in the room where the electric chair is, which I believe is on the left. It's on the left side. When you go to the old state penitentiary, it's on the left. You make it left. Okay. They strapped him in and then didn't make a last statement, but he just smiled and said, "Are you happy?" It was time to start the electrocution. They gave the signal to the executioner, Jerry Gibbons, once again. This first surge of 2300 volts for 55 seconds of electricity that passed through his body that showed action, which is time. His fish clay body tense up, and then the smoke started coming after the last 2300 volts surge of electricity passed through his body for 55 seconds. Then he was pronounced dead at 11:07. After those two surges of 2300 volts. I don't think it's, like, once again, they said it's 2500 volts. I was like, which one? Because guess what? The body, but the executions, they weren't even 2500 volt surge. Linwood got the 2400 volt surge. James got the 2300 volt surge. So, when I read right here on my own words, after the electric chair had executed the Briley Brothers, the two of the Briley Brothers, not the third one, the first two, the two older ones got executed. They were buried in North Carolina right next to each other. I don't even know where the cemetery started. I forgot what it is, but I know they buried in North Carolina. Now, the third brother, which is still alive to this day, Anthony Ray Briley, parole applications were all denied by the state board. He's still alive at the age of 63. He's going to be 64 next month. Their accomplished Duncan Meekins, which is also still alive to this day, is now giving help by the police officers and the judge. So, he's getting parole too. So, make sure. Alright. So, this is the full page. I'm gonna put some photos up there. I want y'all to look at it, but it looks familiar, So this video is gonna pretty much be 30 some minutes long. Cause this page right here I've written all night. Took my time all night. It's long. I say, you know what? This is a page. This is serious, man. Serial killers. My goodness. Some of them got lethal injection. Some got the chair. Some got gas chamber. Some got the hangy. Some got firing squad. So the next chapter, the serial killer chapter, I'm going to be talking about Pee Wee Gaskins, which has also been put to death in the electric chair. He got put to death in the electric chair too, so he was put to death. Pee Wee Gaskins, which has also been put to death in the electric chair, not in Virginia, but he got put to death in the electric chair in South Carolina. So let's get it ready. Let's get ready. I am doing a serial killer videos. Tell you all about them. But Ted Bundy, he's been put to death in the electric chair in Florida. Oh my goodness, that's gonna take me longer. Pee Wee Gas is gonna take me longer because this is hit. Man, the serial killer got a lot of histories. I'm telling y'all. Sorry, y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe to this channel. Leave me some questions, comment down below. Which I already told y'all what the serial killer I'm doing next. I'm doing Donald Henry Pee Wee Gaskins. So Well, that's gonna be the next 2 days. I think it's gonna be, cause right now I'm gonna start on his. I'm gonna start on his. I'm gonna write about him. I'm gonna write full pages like I did the Brileys. Like I did the Brileys, I'm gonna do him. So it's gonna take me. My God, it's gonna take me for at least 2-3 hours. 2-3 hours. So hopefully tonight I'll just do a video and then post it on YouTube late. So if I get done, guess what? I'll post him on YouTube, and I'm gonna send him some photos too. So that's just a hint. Don't let me get too far. So I'm doing a serial killer franchise. So remember, I am doing a serial killer video franchise. I just said that means no night routines until all is done. So I am doing a serial killer story time all week long. So after Pee Wee, I'm gonna do Ted Bundy. That's the third one I'm gonna do. Then that, and I'll look up. I know all the serial killers, but I'm gonna let y'all know when it's ready. So I'm gonna start sending photo what should I do next. What I'm gonna do next. So make sure y'all subscribe. Peace. See y'all later. Have a good night. Have a blessed day. God bless. This is the day that you go to church. Praise God. Pray the Lord. I go to church every Sunday. Peace.